computer and share the screen so we can look at what's going on. As you know, this morning, this is, we'll just check the Forex Factory news. That's always the first thing you should do. 20 push-ups to anyone on live on camera if you'd forget to do it, because it can catch you out if you don't. Someone didn't listen. I'm just going to shut down some of these, see if that helps speed things up. Got quite a few windows open. And let's find Euro Ward. Before I came on, my trading view was very slow and I seem to have lost my watch lists off the side, so I'm going to have to click them all back on again. I really don't know why that's happened. I wonder if I can close any of these down. Oh. No, we've got plenty of food. No! Stop it.
Come on, Benny.
God. Always when I start to do this. Oh, that's... I've only got one other person in the house at the moment as well. Try another one. Try Ian. Oh, maybe if I try it this way. I did wonder if I should have shut my computer down and opened it up again. It's still got the little wheel whirring. What don't I want to look at today? See if I can shut some of them down. Come on. I won't look at that. Always try and open them up again. Usually my computer's pretty good over here. Let's try another one then. We'll try Euro USD, see if that'll open. Or I could try Trading View another way. Right, let's see if I can get onto it like this. Rather than opening the windows at the top. All right, thank you. Is anybody looking at anything at the moment off the scanner, or have you had a successful morning on BYOB? Anything to watch you want us to look at, let me know. Right, okay then, so we'll have a look at, well, I should do what I've said we should do first, which is look at the news. So Wednesday, I'm an hour ahead of you. If you're in the UK, I'm on Paris time, UTC +1. So do look at this according to your local time zone, which you'll see at the top. So we're just in that crossover with New York. A lot of red flag news, including Friday, which is the non-farm payroll. So we want to be very, very careful of, is it non-farm payroll? Yeah. And NFP, which is the end of month, everything other than agricultural in the States. And it's a very big day for the bankers to hide their news. So a lot of people don't trade on that Friday. It's come up on February the 7th. I suppose it's just the way the calendar's fallen after Christmas. So a lot of people don't trade on Friday, and at least beware of it an hour either side. It doesn't matter really what the figures say. The bankers use it to shoot the candles up and down, as we know, to take out people's stop losses. So watch out for that. And then today we've had the Australian dollar news. We've had some Euro news, red flag, 2:15 p.m. So that's now, is US dollar, so we probably do not want to be trading that currency right now. That's happening in 5 minutes. We could look to see on GBP USD, just so I can show you what happens with the fake out candle, because I do trade the news on my live account, but I do it in a group with Chance and Samantha. I did do it myself the other day successfully. What you have to do is set both a long position for a buy and a short position for a sell, and put your stop losses in. Look at the candle beforehand, how it closes, and that will be the fake out, and the news will go the other way. It can sometimes be a damp squib, or it can go completely the opposite direction to that which you thought, and that's why you want your stop loss in. So 4 p.m. as well, which will be just an hour after I finish, is also dollar news. So that heavily affects what we're going to look at this afternoon. And we've got New Zealand dollar bank holiday. So anything with New Zealand dollar, I'm going to take off.
Trading. There's me trading. I'm in one of the thingy rooms.
What are you in at the moment?
Live chat. Can she see you?
I can't see you, but I can hear you. So can you please mute out unless you are asking a question? Thank you. I'll take that one off. Let's have a look here. So let's have a look. Let's find GBP USD. I'll just hope the chart will open up this way. I don't know why my charts are not opening up. Refresh it. I've closed quite a few down. I won't look at Swiss franc at the moment. GN we can close. Still trying to open up, sorry about this. No idea why it's doing it. Oh, I was fine this morning, and then it did go a bit glitchy on me about an hour or so ago. CAD JPY. USD Chef was one of the ones I was looking at in the trade calls yesterday. I'll just close that at the moment. I'm just seeing if I close some of them, it'll help. But I haven't got that many open now. Oh, amazingly, impossibly slow. Okay, why don't I try this then? Close all the open tabs that have been open for ages. And just go into trading view again and open up each one. And we'll look at GBP USD. Okay. That should do it. Right, okay. Just 2 minutes before the news. I will go on the 1 minute chart because that gives you the momentum. It gives you, and please don't, if you do want to take this trade, do not do it on your live account, not on my call anyway. Do it on demo, get a feel for it. As soon as you see which way the candle is going, I don't even know if it'll do anything, but as soon as you see it, it literally lasts 1 minute. As soon as you see the candle going, we've got a fake out candle, which will be the 1 minute before. And then, so for example, if it shoots down in the minute before, and we're looking for the close, which is now, then you know the next candle is going to go up. So you want to be, if this candle goes up, then we know it's going to be a sell. So your stop loss will be above your previous high. If this candle goes down, then it'll be a buy, and you want to put your stop loss down here. So you see how it's just shot down? So that previous candle went up. So therefore, that was the fake out candle, and it shot down. So you literally have 1 minute to do that. So candle at 14.14 went up. On the close of that candle, what you will have done, what you do, is you put both a long position on and a short position. And you do this on your phone ideally, because then it's easier to adjust your stop loss. You just put the first 2 digits in, and then you can just put the last 2 digits in when you see which way it's going to go. So that candle went up, and therefore, let's take that long position out. You would have had your stop loss here. I won't bother with the pips. And that then went down. Oh, it's just hitting quarter theory. Let me take that off. So that shot down in 1 minute to the wick. That was 15 pips, 14 pips. So it didn't go down a great deal. Sometimes they shoot down 40, 50, 60 pips or more, depending on what the news is. And you might see that on Friday. But that's basically how we trade the news. So you can make a lot of pips in 1 minute, but you have to do it very quickly on your phone. So we'll shut that down because we won't discuss USD pairs at the moment, but that's how you trade news. And oh, lost my trading view again. I usually have more than one window open, that's why. So let's look at something that isn't news. We can go to the scanner, see if there's any new scans. And I'll take you through in fact, I don't want to do it that way. If you're new, if you're in our free trial for the week, welcome. So you come to, if you're a member, come to IM Center. And here you'll find all the products that strategies that you've registered for. That seems to have helped cleaning it up. So go to strategies on the left-hand menu, down to the scanner, harmonics. And then we'll just have a look here. I can move that over. Just minimize that for a minute. So you've got all your brokers down here. It doesn't matter which broker you are with. I use the scanner on the 1 hour. You can take them, the Traders Way is the feed for the Harmonic Scanner. You can take it off any of them. So that's an old one there. Try and look for a new one. They will disappear off the end. So you've got the most recent first. There's that looks. You must make sure this time zone down here is your local time zone. I'm in Paris. I put it on UTC +1. Then come over to here to your measuring tool. I take them as a minimum of 80 pips C to D, and that's 285. And then you either put a Fibonacci on, which if you are new, you probably haven't got into Fibonacci, called fib retracement. So you can put a 15%. So if it's a 15%, that shows you that it has solidified. 89% of scans over 100,000 tests are valid, but sometimes they just drop off the end here, and that means they're a failed scan. So what I do is I just put the measurement tool on the D point, and I see if it's moved 20 pips. You can see it's gone 47. So we're good to go on this one. Now you'll see here that with IM, they give you the trade. They give you one trade. The reason I draw the scans and then put pitchforks on, this little tool up here, is because these are 5 key reversal points in the market. Then I put the pitchfork on, which is just an easy way to click, very duplicatable strategy, because it already has Fibonacci built in, and it gives you preloaded trend lines. It saves you drawing all the lines of support and resistance. And better still, if you draw them accurately, it then means that you can take multiple trades over a period of time. They're valid forever. So even if the scanner isn't spitting anything out, if Vibrata or Web Analyzer hasn't got anything at the moment, I'm taking trades off the levels up and down once I've got the scans on. and I can take trades off scans that are months old as long as I double check the pitchfork hasn't glitched or slipped and it's still valid. So never have an ego. I always go back, just double check that the pitchfork's still working. But you can come here and take this trade. It's good to go. So there's a stop loss. So take a screen grab of this. If you want to look at this, this is a buy scan. There's your entry point. And if you say, oh, Sarah, but I've missed the entry point, and what do I do now? Then just put your long position on for a buy, work out a stop loss. We'll go through it. I'll put this on the on TradingView. We can go through it and then make a note of take profit 1, take profit 2 level, and take profit 3. I won't write these figures down because then we can come back and see how close my figures are to these. They were pretty close to yesterday, and that shows you, that that my confirmations work, and that's why once I've got the scan on, not only can I take this trade, but I know between pitchforks. And how do I know that? And the other confirmations I use, because price will always move, it will always conform, and it will always move naturally between levels. Now, people think that the financial markets are somehow chaotic and random, and I suppose it's because you see all this going on, but it isn't. It's driven by big boy bankers, big Forex traders who have such vast sums of money that they can literally move the markets, and they will always settle up their figures on their trades to 0s, 5s and 2 5s, everything in quarters like our decimal point system, and they will do their stop losses, and they will close trades on a Friday, and everything to natural levels. And that's why the market is a market driven by people. It looks like money, but it's a psychological market driven by people who are lazy, who like to round numbers up or down. And that's why you will always find that price will move between levels. So if price came up to this level, but it failed at that level, like you can see here, it failed to reach that level. Let's say that's a quarter theory, a line of support and resistance. If price moves from one level and fails to reach the next level, it will reverse back down and drop back down to its previous level. Stall out, stall out, stall out, which means trade can only go either way from there. That makes the 50-50 trade. Don't get into a trade if you see it stalling out, because you'll be stuck there chewing your pencil for hours, and you know that's not fun, because after that it can go either way. And here you can see it said it's rejected it and it's gone for the drop. That could be the news, could be the Euro news that happened earlier on. I took that drop there on this one for 40.7 pips, and it actually has gone double that. So that's the exact trade I took this morning, and then it's fallen back to that previous reversal point, and now it's working its way back up. So let's go to TradingView again, which has now gone off my screen, and find Euro, Australian dollar. And I may still have it marked up on here when I open it up. The low chart layout. Down there. This is on the 15-minute chart. Just clean up your charts as you go along. And let me see if I can, can't remember, I must have taken it off. Took it off. Right, let's draw this scan. So it was an hourly scan. Sorry, M15 scan, minute 15. I don't normally come on the 15-minute chart, but obviously it has spat out a big enough scan at over 80 pips. But you need to make sure it's the correct time. So when you come to your TradingView, we're looking at Euro on the 15-minute, Okay, and then what you're looking for when you draw these, I'll just fade out as the previous scan lines. So if I just fade that out and take off quarter theory, which is a key level, and that's an alert, take that off. So we've got a clean chart. Okay, so what you want to do, go to your scan and make sure you're on your local time zone. Draw your cursor across, line it up with that X point, and look below at the date and time. Now, once you've joined the dots and got it on, that's the fiddly bit. That's 31st of the 1st, or there it says January 31st, written in American style. 0200 hours. Put that on, line it up with your A point, and that's 0202 at 2300 hours. Your B point there, which is 0302 at 1600. Your C point at 0402 at 0145, and your D point 0502 at 1230. Okay, so once you've written that down, come back to your trading view. Now you can do this two ways. You can either, you'll see here, you've got low to high to low to high to low, which means it's a buy scan. Price is going to reverse off this D point. So you're looking for a low point to a high, to a low, to a high, to a low. So once you do a few of these, you'll naturally see where reversal points are. And these are from things called Elliott waves, which we won't get into now, but that then leads to, you may have heard things like Fibonacci with the 61.8 and the 88.6. The 88.6 is the strongest boomerang, the biggest leg. It's called the extension leg on an Elliott wave. So an Elliott wave, I think, looks something like this. I'm not very good at drawing them, but 1, 2, that's the 61.8, and then the third, that's your 88.6 leg, 3, 4, 5. So an Elliott wave is something like that. Look it up on Google or in the IM Academy if you remember, because that when I draw Fibonacci's off past to present, then I will often look for that 88 or the 61.8, and that gives me the confidence to know how long I can stay in a trade, that it's going to go right back up to the minus 61.8, and it helps me set my take profits. So let's look at drawing the scan. You come to the left, you look, this is the scanner icon. You can see the little 5 stars on there. So click on that. You want the XABCD pattern. Now, once I've clicked on that with the left-hand mouse, I've got 5 points now on my mouse. So you just want to do one click at a time. So move your mouse along at the bottom so you can see where you are. And we're looking for 31st of the 1st at 0200. So we're looking for that there. And once you want it on the end of the wick, so you want the magnet tool on the left. Then we want for the next point, the A point, 0202 at 23. So that's going to be there. Second click of the mouse. Then 0302 at 1600 is there, that next low point. Then 0402 at 145, that's my 4th click. And then down here to the D point, which is 5th of Feb at 1230. 1230 is there. So once you've got that on, just go back, just snip back, and you can see it does look the same. That looks good to go. So once you've done that, the next stage is to go to the pitchfork symbol on the left. Click on the pitchfork, line it up exactly where you were with your other points. That's at 2 o'clock. click from X to C, X to C, which is 145. Trying to get it to, I need to adjust that, I think. Is that, and then down to the 5th at 12:30 there. So I'll just go back. That's clicked on 1:30 and I wanted on 1:45 there. Okay, so you've now got your pitchfork on. There is something called a second pitchfork. So if price dropped further down here and was outside the scan, I could draw it from out in the middle of nowhere to X to A, and then line it up with either the C or the D point, but it must face in the opposite direction to the current pitchfork. We won't get into that now because that's a little bit more advanced. But what you do now, and this is the only fiddly bit, you go to the 1 minute. Now TradingView will only take you back 2 weeks to enable you to look at the time and date below. So if you do it all on the 1 minute, and I'll show you why, because you've got on the 15 minute, you'll have 4 15-minute candles in an hour. In 60 minutes, you've got 1 candle. And in 1 minute, you've got 60 candles. So we're trying to line these up at the most accurate high or low point. And that's why we go down to the 1 minute. And if you find your scan is a big one and it's gone too far back, then drop to the 5 minute, but do it on the lowest time frame that you possibly can. So see, if we look at this, you can see I have got, it just happens to be, it is exactly on, and below it does say 12:30. Now sometimes it won't say exactly 12:30, it'll say something a bit different. So you won't always, it'll say 12, I don't know, can't think, 12:20 or something, but it doesn't matter as long as it's on the high or low. And if you're in doubt, then go to the menu. If they look similar, go up to this one here and grab a horizontal line, and then you can draw a line across, and you can see which is the highest or lowest candle by doing that. So this is the only fiddly bit, but it is worth doing, because even if you're sloppy with it and you're a pip or two out, you can see how much that's out, and yet we thought it looked like it was on. What will happen over a period of time is those 1 or 2 pips out off these angles will end up being, the angle will increase over months, weeks and months, and you'll end up, doesn't really matter about getting the pink shape on, by the way, it's just to give you the shape, but I normally do put it on. You'll end up 50 or 60 pips out, and then that makes it totally untradeable, and you won't like that, because you'll be so off your account. The A points on as well. Your account will not look very good at all, and that happens to be on as well, so that's okay. So now we're good to go. I go down to this, go back to the 15 minute, I go down to the object box at the bottom and just put the magnet on, and then I know they're not going to glitch in the future. And let's have a look at the trade. Okay, so that's good. We've got a break and a retest of that D point now. We've got a pitchfork touch, but we can still see that this moving average, this is pushing price down. Do you see how price here stayed under that 62? It's an average of moving price moving over. It's a rolling line of support and resistance over 62 days, weighted to the most recent price. So if I know price is under that line, then I know it's literally pushing price down, and I'm still safe in the sell position that I'm in. I didn't know that this was actually going to drop 80 pips, you know, the way that it did, but I did have the setup. It had stalled out across here, which is an old pitchfork, and I had it set up for 20 pips, and then stayed in while it came down there to the 40 pips. It did 40 pips, because each leg, this is another line of support and resistance. Each of these orange lines are 50 pips apart, and that's called quarters theory, and I did do a video on that the other day. Now you can see the 62 is crossing the 15-minute moving average. It's another rolling line of support and resistance, and it's coming down to this quarter theory. So it still wants to push price down, but we'll see what happens at that key point, because it's crossing that pitchfork. Think of that as an aggressive trend line. If you draw ordinary trend lines, they're more like a zone, but because these have Fibonacci built in them, they are very, very accurate. So I've got the 5 reversal points with Fibonacci built in, and I've got the pitchfork with Fibonacci built in. So here, price could well reject off that, but we'll go to the 1 minute, because I take my trades for a precise entry off the 1 minute. And let's see what's actually happening here. So on the 1 minute, we've got it leveling out slightly. That's good, but we haven't got the 62, so I'm coming above this quarter theory. So you need to watch out for that point. Let's see how many pips we've got between here and here. 22 pips, so that's quite good. You need to look at your time as well, because you don't want to be in a trade. I don't take trades. I try not to take trades at 10 minutes to the hour or a couple of minutes past, because you do get a fake out more often than not. So you can see price is still pushing down. It could well now say it wants to drop down here before it turns. And another little tool here that I use called the Hull multi-time frame analysis. And this will show me in the background 15-minute bands of whether, now this is quite good. Price is being green, but now it's turning to red. So we need to see if this is going to flip green, because you don't want to be getting into a buy, even with those figures that the Harmonic Scanner has given you, until you see it turning green, coming up above the pitchfork, because then you've got your 20 pips between there and that quarter theory point there. So we'll put this down as a buy off the scanner. I'll put scanner trade, and we'll look at some figures to, on Euro Australian dollar. Remember, we're in New York session, so these two aren't in session, coming out of London and into New York, and Australian dollar is one of the Asian session pairs that you would trade with the New Zealand dollar and the Japanese yen. So look at your time of day when you're trading as well. It doesn't mean to say they won't move. If I look at Euro as well, it's an 8. It's quite a fast moving currency, not like something like USD, American dollar, Swiss franc, which only moves to 2, or Euro GBP only moves to about a 2 out of 10. But it depends on your appetite, patience. You can set alerts. You don't have to literally sit and watch these things. Now we can see that is turning now. So we'll do some figures, and then we'll move on to something else. So we've had a break and a retest there. We're still under the 62. It could still drop. I don't like this big gap there. You could put the indicator on. We might just try that without changing the candles at the moment. And the indicator is still saying sell. That's on the 1 minute. What does the indicator tell us on the 15-minute? Still saying sell on the 15-minute. And you can see the bands at the back are still red. So everything is forcing price down. The bands have narrowed, saying price isn't moving very much. So wait for your SAR flip and wait for your, this is the 5 minute, put the SARs on. If you are doing BYOB, which is if you're new or in the trial group, then I suggest you do focus on that before you try and branch out.
Sarah,
Yeah, into other strategies.
Somebody keeps coughing in the background.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, I can mute people out.
Thank you.
Hang on. More. Right, hang on a minute. I think Dan's the culprit. Exit full screen. There we are. So, mind you, I coughed so much I had to delete a video and redo it the other day. Was quite unwell last week. So it's still sell on the 5 minute. It's still pushing price down on your indicator.
Sorry, Sarah, I can't see your screen.
Oh, sorry. Thanks. That's always helpful. I find being able to see what we're actually doing. Yeah. So put your indicator on. It's still dropping, so it may come down to quarter theory before it decides it's going to turn. But don't take the trade. So what we'll write down is on our watch list is don't take the trade until it's one entry price. And you can look on the scanner, we'll go back to it in a minute, 1.62767. And you're looking for a take profit to start with and it could, remember, it could do another break and retest. It doesn't always just do one and then go. So you are looking for it to, possibly retest that line. I'll take the indicator off and I'll take the SAR flip off. But if you are on a free version of TradingView, stick to those 3 indicators, which is your stochastic, your indicator and your SAR flip. And then you want to change your candles to Heikin-Ashi because they give you an average. They show an average in the candle with it, and will give you a flat bottom. You don't want these wicky things. So I would take it above there, and then I'd have my take profit 1 at 1.6300, which is your quarter theory line, and then your next point of interest, take profit 2. And this is a very interesting point because I've got both quarter theory and a pitchfork there. So I would expect price to reject off that, in which case, if you had an appetite for it, you could take it for a sell if it rejects off there. I probably won't do that because in these smaller scans, I stick to, we don't really need that on. I stick to just taking it for a buy up until this median point, until it's done, in other words, 2 legs of the pitchfork. But that's your second point there at 1.63500. So that's your next 50 pip level. And the scan should work its way all the way up. So if we go back to the scanner says, and this is on the 15 minute, the scanner's saying enter at 1.616. So what did we say? Yes, that's saying enter at 1.627 flat, right? 1.62700. But I'm saying wait until 1.62767 or thereabouts, because I prefer it to be above that pitchfork line here. I want to see it above my pitchfork line. It's not to say, I mean, as I said to you yesterday, I think it was, Les took a banker's strategy. We all took the same trade on GBP USD, and we all did very well. Now, he'd worked his figures out looking at a bigger strategy. Me, I'm right down the rabbit hole with my trades. I mean, I just like my 10 to 20. I do try and going to do more swing trading this year, though, and catch those 50, 100 pip moves, but still the same strategy, just over the hourly time frame. So for me, I didn't enter the trade deliberately. I stuck to my rules. I didn't enter the GBP USD buy until it had cleared this pitchfork and cleared quarter theory, because those are my invisible walls and they're my rules. So for me, although the scanner's given you an entry point, I say enter there, and then let's just look at it. Take profit 1, they've put that at 163,801. Well, absolutely fine. 163,801 as your take profit 1. Let's get a horizontal line here. 163. Just go to your right click and go to your settings. If you 163,801, I think they said 163,801. So they're saying take profit halfway up there. Well, for me personally, I would watch that level very carefully. I still stick to my guns on that one. They're going off a big overall view of the scanner. So I still say come out at 1635, or at least see it stalling out. If it drops below, then it's if it doesn't quite make it and it drops below, then you want to be out of it. If it does push on through, fine, give it a few pips, stay in it, and take their level, or see how far it will push through. If it's going to go to that level, it will or it should go to this level, which is your 164. But look at your, when you're doing it, look at your previous highs and lows. You can see it. You can see here was a, just see if I can move that. This is your Asian session here, which is why it's stalled out all the way through. You wouldn't expect this currency pair to move until London. That's Asian session, but it is a strong line of support and resistance. So depending on what time it comes through to this level, if it hits the close of trade, it should move faster than that. But if it hits this at the close of today's trading, you will be stuck in another period of consolidation through until London tomorrow, although the Australian dollar is traded on the Asian market, but it didn't do much previously, and I expect if I look back, I'll probably find the same. So I would be looking, I'd prefer to look at that level, and then at 163, 1635 and 1.64, the quarter theory. And I have got a video of that I've put in Ninja Forex Traders, and also in my own group, which I recorded the other night. I tried to keep it simple. It's a theory based on our decimal point system and how everything in the world, from how we look at the hour on the clock, divided into quarters. Everything is divided into quarters, and when you're looking at big moves of money in the market, in the financial market, it moves in 1,000 pip ranges, which in turn is divided into 250 pip ranges. So my ranges on the quarter theory are 250 pips either side of price, and then in turn that can be divided into in fact, I know why they've done that, because that is a small quarter point. So they've taken the 50 pip and divided it in half, because 63600 and 63400 gives you that gives you your 60 to 80 20. So they've done the midpoint between that deliberately. So if I went here to my indicator, if I went here to the settings on quarter theory, you can see I've turned off all the quarters, but if I turn them on, they'll come up in dark green. I'll have to turn them off again. And let's just see. There it is. Did you see it flash up there? So that is the quarter theory point. So if I just take a note of that, that is at 1.63750. 1.63750. So you could look at that point, because that's your quarter theory. So it goes. So the whole principle of quarter theory is how the bankers settle up money, how everything is in quarters, and how you can come down from 250 pips to 50 pip bands, which is what I use, through to 25 pip bands. And I think Mike Miles uses that, who's one of the top educators. I don't go down at that level. So just take off those so I don't forget. Okay, so that's how you go through a trade there. We'll look at some other things. I'm not going to look at GBP USD. If anyone wants me to look at anything in particular, please say. But that's a scanner trade for you. So we'll see, rather than go and do another scanner trade, we'll just have a look at something else. So perhaps look at it's a bank holiday for, I think it's bank holiday for New Zealand dollar today. That's, I think if I remember rightly. Yes, I don't want to look at New Zealand dollar pairs. That's still dropped off the face of the earth. That also moved down this morning on GBP USD. But we're not going to look at that. That's that move. That's this USD news this afternoon. So that went 45 pips. That's nice. If anyone caught that. Okay, so which one should we do next? We'll just do a non-USD pair. Maybe look at GBP, JPY, or don't want to look at GN. So if we have a look, let's have a look at GCAD. I don't think I had anything else written down because I did that 40 pips this morning, so I didn't really want to. I had things down, I had notes down, but this was from this morning. If you want to make a quick note of any of these, I don't know how much they've moved on. I had USD Swiss franc for a buy to look at, Australian Canadian dollar for a sell. Why don't we look at that? I think I'd rather look at that. See what's happened with that. Had Australian AN, Australian New Zealand for a sell, but it is New Zealand bank holiday. AUD USD for a sell. NZD CAD for a buy, but don't look at that because it's bank holiday. USD JPY for a sell. Euro USD for a sell. Euro Swiss franc CHF for a sell. And I didn't have anything on Euro GBP. But UJ, USD JPY this morning, having a brief look, possibly a 30 to 50 pip move. And AN for a sell was very nice. It could have gone for 100 pips, I thought, but AN, I didn't get onto that because it was bank holiday and I'd just done that other trade. But even though it's bank holiday, we could have a look at it, I suppose. See if it did do anything. And then we'll look at ACAD as the last one. So in fact yes, because it was going up so strongly, it has simply got what goes up must come down. So do look at this one for a sell and use your indicator, because look at what it's done, and that's since yesterday night, close of play. So that's Asian session. So into London, it's moved up to nearly 50 pips. It's just hitting that old pitchfork there. So it may well be wanting to turn. I'm definitely going to be looking at this, except it is bank holiday for the New Zealand dollar. Just put that hull on. Let's see if it's showing still green, or so it's still in the buy mode, and we'll look at it on the hourly. And it's still in buy mode, so it's still on its way up. See what it does at 1.04500. But you have got still a strong upward trend on that 62 and quite a gap between that and the 15-minute one. So it may well go on up to the extensions at 1.047. And that quarter theory is at, sorry, 1.045 there. So have a look, see what it does, because it will start to turn eventually. Let me just put my settings back, otherwise I forget what I'm doing. and shut that off. So the last one we're going to look at is Australian Canadian dollar, and see if that has, if that, because it's going up so strong, whether that's turned for the sell yet. So this is the hourly. So the hourly, it's been strongly upwards, but they are getting closer, which is good, because that means, you know, that means it's going to turn. So that's from 4th of Feb, it went up 50 pips. This is the 5th of Feb. That's Asian session, so it's gone up to 50 pips in London today. And let's look on the 15-minute. We've had the crossover there, and it's just hitting that, but I haven't got it. I don't think I've got a scan on this. It's outside, I think it's outside my scans. So you can see there I've drawn a second pitchfork, and I won't do that while we're on this session because we're nearly at the end, but I will try and fiddle around and find myself an older scan where I can draw a second pitchfork to bring that into a pitchfork. But you can look at your previous highs and lows. You can put your indicator on. This is on the 4 hourly. 4 hourly, it was a sell there. You know, you've got very wide Bollinger Bands. You can see it's at the very outer edge near this point here. So I'm going to write that down. So this is a sell. Look at 0.90000. That's your quarter theory. It's right at outer edge of the Bollinger Bands on the 4 hourly. And I can't give you any information on pitchfork or trend lines because I haven't got one on. But you can see that on the 4 hourly, you've got the 62 underneath. But that's going to come up for a sell anyway on that one, and we are just coming up to the end. We could look briefly at we could look at UJ then, USD JPY for a sell, because this one I haven't looked at it because I've done something like 6% on that trade this morning. UJ. And go to the hourly. So it's just loading. So this is a buy scan, but it's hitting that pitchfork. Let's come down to quickly to the lower time frame. You probably want to get on for. I haven't been in this. It must have been from marking up yesterday. Let's go to the 15-minute. See what's happening. It's still saying it's going up. So we're just quickly. That is an old pitchfork there as well that it's hitting. Style. Just bring that up for you in yellow. So you can see an old pitchfork. Sorry, it looks like so colourful, but it's just hitting that pitchfork there. So it may not like that. So for a sell, think about 109.825 to keep an eye on that for turning, but more likely up here, which has got both the pitchfork and quarter theory. So that is a key level at 109.990, and this will be for a sell. Then you want your stop loss 10 pips above that if you get an entry here and it's turned. But look how the 62 is still above. Ideally, you want that to turn around and start crossing the 15-minute one. So stop loss at least 10 minutes above, but only if you've got a key level of support and resistance between your entry price and stop loss. And then you'd be looking to take it down 50 pips. So depending on, you know, when it's going to turn, more likely up there, but 50 pips, you're going to be taking it for the sell, looking either at 1.109775 as your TP1, or this quarter theory 109,500. Okay, so put your indicator on, keep an eye on that. We're now 3 o'clock my time, out of time. I hope you enjoyed today's session, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And thanks for joining. Please message me if you need any more help.
Thanks, Sarah.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Enjoyed that.
Thank
Oh,
you.
good. Okay, see you guys. Bye.